So a couple things. How many people hit yes that actually made a time block in their calendar to do something in their business that we talked about yesterday? We had about like 25% in the morning. So I always like to see, I'm slightly competitive, maybe very competitive. So I always like to see between the morning and the afternoon, kind of where everyone lands. All right, we hit about 25, a third, no? All right, you guys are all doing better. So here's what I want you to do. For the 50 some odd people that chose not to do anything, I want everyone who did do something to support these people, and everyone take out your calendars now. I don't care if it's today, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, next week, a month from now, make a commitment to yourself to do something. Like the whole point of this is to take the information and use it in your business. This is what I call carefrontations. And I say this over and over again. Actions speak louder than words. And I will never stop telling you to take time in your calendar to prioritize yourself and your business. So when you do it, done, boom, one person. So let's get this number up. We're at like 28 out of 86. And if you're not taking the time to do this, I really want you to sit in a quiet place and ask yourself why. Remember, if you have to charge people for commission, you have to know how to do this. So Sean Noonan, who's sitting there with their entire team, I want you guys to block an hour off. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I feel that energy. I want all of you to block an hour off and do this together. Everyone has something to share. So we're going to get through this relatively quickly because the buyer list is a lot shorter than the seller list. And then we're going to help you guys elect some group leaders and show you guys how to do this together. All right, everyone, time block away. Look, any coach that's not asking you to put time in your calendar, they're essentially saying, here's the information, good luck, go do it on your own. We provide an airplane that gets you to a destination, and that's where we want to make sure you go. But the airplane only takes you to the airport, and your job is to get in the car and still go to the hotel. So if you're not doing this, you guys are missing out. And if you work with buyers, this is the single most important thing that you can do for your business. Amy, I'll be coming to Westchester next week, so I look forward to seeing you in person. Look, remember, you're committing to take actions with who you want to be, not who you are today. So anything that you're resisting is where you need to go towards. Friction is your friend. All right, let's get started. Okay, the buyer experience. We're not going to go through the grading. We're going to start with the buyer consultation. And the first thing that I want you to do is it's about asking the right questions, but this all starts with the Med-C. So if you're asking people, where are you moving? When do you want to move by? What is your budget? Those could, depending on your tonality and when you ask, those could almost be like being interrogated by the police. And remember, for everyone else, this is a business meeting. Please turn your camera on, be present, give yourself the opportunity to connect and let other people see your face and know who you are and where you're from. So Mary Richards, I would suggest updating. I see you scrambling, sorry. At some point, update your Zoom settings where your name is. Put Marie, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I would put a space, Richards, / Tampa. Look at like the Carla Dorsey team, Tampa, right? That's a good example. Aga Realtor, New Jersey. She has a unique name. You'll remember her in New Jersey. It's Neuro Association, right? And with her last name, Chicago. Everyone should have their name like that and their cameras on for this. So in the buyer experience, the first thing you want to start is the Med-C, because that's how you anchor every question down to it. So when you want to ask someone, why are you moving? It's, what they're most excited about. So that gets covered in it. When do you want to move by? So if someone says we're moving to Florida so that we could save on state income taxes and we want to take more vacations, say, hey, when do you want to be to Florida so that you could start taking advantage of those tax savings for more vacations? They'll tell you. What is your budget? I would say the question like this. When it comes to looking at homes, people have two schools of thoughts. One group focuses on the purchase price. Other people focus on what the monthly payment is based on the way you do your financial planning, which one aligns best for you. They're going to tell you which one. And you're going to say, great. And then you're going to reverse engineer price. You're going to say, ultimately, this is what we looked for your search parameters. So this is why the information is helpful for you so that we're able to stay in alignment with what your financial goals are. Doesn't that sound a lot better than what's your budget? Have you been pre-approved or anything like that? Remember, it's all about the 7 keys to effective communication. The next one, the most important skill of all that you could have as a buyer's agent is explaining the market. Hit yes if you hear a lot of people say, I don't want to overpay for a home, but yet they want to go look for them. You hear that a lot today? Let's see what we got in the chat box. The chat is not moving. Oh, there it is. Always. This one's tried and true. So when somebody says that, remember 7 keys to effective conversations. I totally hear what you're saying. No one likes the feeling of overpaying. So in your mind, what is a good deal for you in this market? That's the script, right? This is all about sharing the market. Great. So let's look at the market through the eyes of your goals and expectations. Go back 3 months, go back 6 months, go back 9 months, go back 12 months, and then go back 18 months. None of these deals exist, right? However, it's being on their side and creating that process. So then I would go back and I would say, John, based on what other buyers are willing to pay for homes, the type of deal you're looking for has not been available in the market for the last 18 months. Based on that, how can I best support you moving forward? The type of deal that you're looking for, based on what other buyers, I would say, hold on. Over the last 18 months, based on what other buyers are willing to pay for homes, the type of deal that you're looking for is not available. Based on that, how can I support you? How can I best support you going forward? Let them answer. And then you say, hey, I have a few different options I could share with you. One, you could just not do anything, and that's always your choice. The second one is you're in a rental now, you could look for other rentals. Third, we could really identify based on, I would say the price point they want to stay in or the monthly budget they want to stay in, what the ideal home is for you and based on what other buyers are willing to pay. When the right deal comes, we know what we have to do to execute. Which one do you think works best for you? I want to support you 100% in what's aligned. And then if they push back more, I would say this. Generally speaking, would you look at homes on evenings and weekends? Yeah, sure. That's generally when we have available. If you weren't looking at homes and you haven't started this process, just what do you currently do on evenings and weekends? They're going to share it with you. And I'm going to say, hey, can I just put my cards on the table? Or hey, can I just be direct? Or hey, can I just be honest with you? And they're going to say yes. As a consultant, advisor, agent, however you choose to position yourself, in my heart, based on what other buyers are willing to pay for homes, and the last 18 months of what's actually traded, I know what you're looking for is not available. And I don't want to enter this relationship with false promises where you're not going to be able to blank and blank what they're doing. So I can show you a bunch of homes promising you a deal that I know you can't have. If that's the type of experience that you're looking for, then I just want to say upfront that I'm not the right agent. And I don't want to disappoint you. Do you think anyone could be upset with that? No, because it's in their benefit. Now, explaining multiple offers. Most people have no idea how multiple offers work. They're never giving the courtesy. They're never giving, you got to give up your dog, your right arm, every contingency, take the house as it is, and give the seller everything they want. How good are you at explaining multiple offers? Do you even review all the disclosures with them? One of my favorite lines. Has anyone taken the time to explain the home buying process with you? No. Great. We don't want to be your agent or advisor. We want to be your partners. And being a great partner is being in clear and is being in clear communication where we go through the transaction together, where you never have to worry about what's coming up next. You know, we're trying to create certainty through an uncertain situation. And we know it's a lot to deal with, so we want to make sure that we take the time to do this with you. By the way, anyone that resists this process is not a good client. Unless they bought a home or they have some sort of special experience, because here's what happens. When people start trying to push this on you, here's what I want you to do. I would say, hey, let me ask you a question. If you like the way that I make a cake, do you think you could give me your recipe and I made your recipe and the cake would taste the same as if I made it with my own? What do you think they're going to say? They're going to say no. So essentially, this process we have, an experience we create for people partnering and buying a home, is our recipe for success. We can't guarantee any kind of outcome if we just follow your recipe, expecting the cake to taste the way that it does when we make it. Does that make sense? And that will make sense to most people. Closing fees. Do you actually go through all the costs? Like if you're in New York, a closing could be 4 to 5% of the transaction. Between mortgage tax and title insurance, it's insane. Explain the written offer process. This is part of your value proposition. What you offer people in terms of negotiation strategy, how you write an offer, using our multiple offer template. Buyer questionnaire. How well do you get to know what they want? Do you ask questions like, you know, what things in the community do you enjoy doing most with yourselves and your family? What's the ideal lifestyle for you? How far is your job? Do you have any commuting needs? Do you need to get to a train? Do you have a certain amount of time that the train needs to be? All these little details. What are their wants and needs? And explain to them like, look, ultimately, we want to try to get you all the things you need, but we need to understand what you really want because the market is low inventory, it's competitive. So we want to align on what the expectations are. Sharing helpful resources. How do you strategize the entire transaction for people? And share resources, because you're not only helping them buy a house, you're helping them move. After the meeting, do you add notes to your CRM? Do you set up everything in collections? Do you go in and actively comment with your market expertise? Do you put this in Business Tracker where you track their confidence level, low, medium, high? These are all different things to do with buyers. So who here sees an area for opportunity? Everyone should raise their hand. Because I guarantee you, if I went through this and I picked through your business with a fine-tooth comb, I could find at least 2 or 3 here. Look, if you want to sell your service for a paycheck, these are the things you need to spend time on. Everything else is a distraction. If you go back and look at your business, look at what percentage of your clients are direct repeat and referral clients, like repeat clients, and what percentage of referrals comes from people that interacted with you. Essentially, their interaction is this experience, it is this checklist, and it is your form of it. So you need to get this dialed in as much as you can. Now, this is one of the areas where you can really improve like a concierge 5-star experience. Setting up appointments. One of the things that buyers say all the time is I have to find the places and I send them to my agents and everything else. I would write every person an email and I would save a template in Google Drive, Michelle, and I would go back to it. It would say, Dear Michelle, we have confirmed your showings for Saturday between 10 and 1 p.m. Below is the schedule of the confirmed property in the order of the properties that we're going to be viewing them with the time, and we'll meet at the first listing 123 Main Street at 10 a.m. Additionally, in an effort to go green, we've attached all the showing sheets if you feel printing them out is best for you, but we highly suggest having a digital format. Don't worry, we have an extra large iPad that we upload all the short tour sheets on, and you have access to your interactive market update where we can leave notes collaboratively. So it's an easy way for us to keep track of all the properties in the conversation in one place. Go buy an extra large iPad, pay for the one that has internet service, and then have their Compass app on there with the collections on there, and let them leave comments at the end of every listing on there. At the end of every listing, say, hey, take a couple minutes and, put what you liked, what you don't like, and if you have any additional questions. Is that something we can all do? Go make the investment. I would be going to Apple and I'd be buying at least 2 or 3 iPads. I'd buy one for my listing pitch and I'd buy 2 for buyers because generally buyers come in pairs. And think about how much more of an elevated experience it is. This is curated luxury. Somebody comes, they get this great confirmation email, they get the show sheets, they know where to go. There's an iPad loaded with it. All the information is there. Now collecting and organized feedback. You can now either ping your assistant or do this when you get back to your office. Put all the feedback in one thing. Say, hey, Michelle, it was great touring the properties today. Below, I've put the feedback as well as a list of any additional questions you have. And is it okay if I get it to you back by? Put a time. Do not say morning, evening, afternoon. If I talk to all 100 of you here today, everyone has a different answer. Is it okay if I get it, or would it be okay if I got it back to you tomorrow by 12 p.m.? If you need it sooner, because you want to make some, because you're interested in moving forward with one of these properties, please let me know and I'll adjust the time frame accordingly. P.S. If you think of anything else about these properties or have any additional questions, feel free to reply to this email so we could organize it in one place. I'll make sure to have it prepared by tomorrow at whatever time you send the email. Is anyone actually doing these showing recaps now? Anybody? If you are, drop your name in the chat. Great. Nobody's doing this. Great area of opportunity. You know how nice it is for organized people into doing this? No, but we should be. I put notes in the collections. So now you want to organize the notes, Tracy, into a recap email. So you're the one really showing your value of how you provide great customer service. They can't do this without you. I tell this to people all the time. If I have a national coaching company, I could literally work in every market in the country. You would think that I could buy a home in the town that I've lived in for 4 years on my own. I would never buy a house in my life without using a local realtor. Never. And I do this professionally at what I believe is at the highest level for a living. There's no reason for it. And a local broker will be able to give you far more information and far better experience. Now, that is touring properties and recaps. By the way, when every other buyer is confused because their agents don't do any of this stuff and they're sitting at coffee, lunch, dinner, breakfast with their friends, you know how nice it is to say, hey, Michelle sends me these recap emails and everything's organized. Everything has a time frame. And if you have assistants, you could just put everything in the notes section of the CRM and then they could just organize it all in one place. So there are different ways of doing this. Inspection. Do you go through and explain to buyers ahead of time? Once in the consultation and once now what the purpose of the inspection is. The purpose of this inspection is not to renegotiate the home. Just understand that we made an offer based on all the things that were visually represented in the home and based on the seller disclosure. This is an opportunity to look for structural damage, mold, asbestos, termites, and make sure that all the major mechanicals are fully functional. And based on that, we'll have a negotiating strategy for repairs. In competitive markets, you can't go and gut a home inspection thinking you're going to overpay asking and then beat them up in the home inspection. You need to align this with clients. And then you need to set their expectations for the negotiating negotiations. If you know no one's doing anything for negotiations and like a good deal is just winning the deal, then make sure you convey that. Going into escrow. Now, once the property goes into contract, this is where I feel people really lose touch. You should still be communicating with your clients once a week. This is really where you should prepare a checklist of what comes next, right? Hiring the mover, the cable company, school registration, whatever it is in your local market, you should have a checklist and you should go buy it. And that you should put dates when they're, like a target date, a completed date. You should have the dates filled out with them and share it with them. And if for a bonus, you can put it in the Google Calendar. And this is where you could share your vetted vendors. And just on a side note, if your vendors aren't either sponsoring your events or sending you clients, you need to find new vendors. Don't settle for Christmas gifts. And, oh, I'm really sorry. I have a lot of agents I work with. I can't do this for everybody. Yeah, you can. We have clients all around the country, and I got a lot of business from my vendors because this is the exact conversation I have with them. Hey, I need to really look at our partnership, and I want to see how I can add more value to it. They're going to say, great. And then in the end, I would bring up in the conversation, one of the things is we've noticed we've sent you blank amount of business over the blank amount of months. And we want to make sure that going forward that either that you could be a partner in our events in a way that our mutual clients could benefit from parties, or that you could start sending us clients so it's equitable on both sides. Coordinating the appraisal with comps, that just as much as that's a strategy on the selling side, it's for the buying side. Because if it doesn't appraise, you're not getting a paycheck and they're not getting home. So therefore, they're going to be upset. Closing time, review the process with the buyers. Explain to them how the TRID disclosure works. Make sure you contact the listing agent to make sure that all the repairs are done and the property's broom clean. And ideally, try to go check for the repairs a day before you go there and make sure that the place is cleaned. Places not being cleaned and left a mess when people pay an extreme premium for homes is a large problem for buyers. It's where all the emotions and ego come in. So you want to contact the bank for final numbers, check with the attorney or the escrow company, review the repairs, as we said before, and ultimately order their gift from Gift Center, Compass Gift Center, or buy something. After closing, you update the business tracker, update your CRM, put all the new tags in, put in their new address, make sure their phone numbers are correct, and add a handwritten note. And it's a bonus. You need to make sure that you build in extending the relationship. If I said to, let's see, let's find a new, who's going to be the person? If I said, Pam, it's been an absolute, I would say, Pam, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to not only help you with such a large financial transaction and finding your ideal home for your family, but also that you shared about your kids and what they love. And you really opened up far more than I could have ever expected or imagined. Pause. They're going to say, Chirag, it's been so great learning about you and your passion for exercise and running and about your kids. And we really appreciate the time and how helpful you've been. I'd say, no, I thank you. That's it's greatly appreciated. Just want to ask you a quick question. Would it be okay if we still stayed in touch around like a monthly basis? So we like to share inserts of benefits. We have different events for our clients, things to do in the community. And ultimately, we know as people that live here locally and are local experts, it's much easier to find something you're looking for through us than it ever is just going on Google and listening to what random strangers say. Would that be okay? And they're going to say yes. And now you just bought in how to stay in touch with them and that they're going to agree to talk to you, right? And the other thing is you need ultimately a post-client action plan. You need to know what you're doing. So here's what we're going to do now. Put an area of the business that you want to improve in the chat based on this checklist from today. Okay. You guys are active here. They're commenting on the iPad. They can comment as anyone they want. It doesn't really matter. So if you want help in the collections and customer service, so building the collections and doing it the right way, that can be one group. The servicing, like sending the confirmation email, the post follow-up, that can be another group. The iPad can be a group of its own. The buyer consultation could be another group of its own. The post-closing experience would be another group of its own. So look, this is where we try to help you collaborate your experiences. So what we want to do is this. If you want to be a leader, here's what you do. You pick the part of it that you want to build a group around and put your email. So I would say Julie Hahn, iPad showings, julie.hahn@compass.com. And anyone that's interested in that, email her. So what we're looking for is people that want to be stakeholders in helping build this out with other people. And then set up a Zoom meeting and make super lists, but start focusing on one area. So we had a handful of people in the morning that elected to be leaders. And what do you guys think is going to be best for you? Who wants to step up, be a leader and lead a group for one part of this transaction? I'll do iPad. So Julie, put in your email so people that want to do email can email you. And look, if you guys all just want to go at this on your own or connect separately, that's it. But, you know, one of the things that you guys have always said to us and we've heard is that, hey, I'd love to engage with more group members. How can I build my network? How can I get to know other people? This is a perfect way. So look, I would say julie.hahn@compass.com, iPad experience. Don't send her your email. She's not an admin to collect all the emails and everything else. We got smarter from the last time we did it. So anyone that's interested, email Julie. Does anyone else want to lead any kind of group? Authority marketing is great, but how does that fit in, Nathaniel, into this? The buyer experience. So if your authority marketing is on like the post-action checklist, then you should lead a group on that. All right, so put your email in there and say post-closing action steps or staying in touch after closing. So put your email in the chat and everyone can email you. So look, ultimately, this is what you guys want to make of it. We'll give you the checklist and everything else. The buyer experience here will be in the portal for you guys with the recording. So look, I will leave you with this note. Everything you need is inside of you. All the people that you need to find are all within this community, and the opportunities you look are right in front of you for the people that are action takers. So step out of your comfort zone, get comfortable being uncomfortable, make sure that your promises to yourself are the most important ones, that you keep them and follow through. Because you all, I believe, will be on the right side of history, because when people have to charge for buyer's agents commissions, you're going to be 100 steps ahead of everyone. As everyone scrambles, you're going to have an entire experience down pat. So literally your experience is going to be so good, you could sell it to somebody as a franchise. So as always, with love in my heart, I love you all. I'll be in Westchester, Brooklyn, and New York City next week. So if any of you guys are in that, gals are in that market, please feel free to come visit in person. The spaces are limited, so please sign up when the links are there. The buyer expectation chat group, Bonnie just put her name in there. So Herson, leave this open for another 3 minutes for people to go in here and leave their comments and everything else, if anyone else wants to join. If not, make sure you join your favorite expert mentors this week. And with love in my heart, again, I love you all, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, everybody.